All right, beautiful people, welcome back. It's Nate Max here, and I have a lovely woman called Misha Harding on, and we're going to talk today about, it's not a new technology, but it definitely is, I guess you could call it a quantum tech. It's been around for a couple of years, but it's really starting to grab traction now. They're the Lifewave patches. And Misha's really been on this road for quite a long period of time, as in the early adoption phase. Now, I've been using these things for a while as well. And you guys would know that I've got a whole bunch of pretty unique products on my website, and I don't really get anything unless it's either, on the quantum edge, or there's something to do with it that makes it a lot better than the other one. So this product actually works really well with all the other stuff I've got going on, and I have been getting good results from it. There's a lot of things people that do send me. A lot of people send me stuff all the time to try. And I know a lot of things, you take them and you may not necessarily be like, oh, I feel crazy the next day because you're deficient, whatever. Certain products do, like people take CBD, for example. A lot of people have really good results immediately. Other things, you're taking it and it's working in the background. But this one for me was very obvious. And my girlfriend's been using it as well. And I was also putting it on my dog during the final stages. And I noticed I was getting some really, really deep sleeps as well. So we're going to talk about these Lifewave patches. They are pretty incredible. I think by the end of this presentation, you guys are going to be pretty interested. It's a whole new way of healing. And honestly, I feel like we should have this stuff and should have had this stuff a long time ago. I've always had visions of, you stand in a doorway and there's some sort of a beam coming down, you walk in and out, and it just reorganizes your DNA. Like the stuff that we've seen in the movies, that's kind of where we should be. But obviously a lot of the good technology is being held back from us, and we're still dabbling around with alcohol-based Chinese herbs and things like that. And they do work. These things all do work, and everything is a stepping stone. Now, and this product will probably resonate with you people who are more on the quantum edge, as opposed to people who are questioning whether we should be drinking tap water or not, and that's totally fine. It's all stepping stones. There's lots of products to get you up to this point. So I'll take it over to Misha, and she's going to give us a really good rundown on this product, what it is, where it came from, and especially a little bit about the guy who created it. Pretty incredible mind, a couple, I think over 100 patents. So yeah, very, very interesting guy. And yeah, thanks for joining us, Misha. Much appreciated.
Oh, thanks so much, Nate. It's such a privilege to, be on this platform. It's always very exciting to be able to share this top technology, but even greater, it's incredibly important and so exciting when we can all come together, especially when we've been walking such a similar journey. And many of us have been walking this journey for a very long time. So for myself, like you said, you covered things, nailed it so well. Like there are many, many things that are very helpful along the way. I've been in the wellness space, and my interest has been there pretty much since I finished university, when I had a immune crash and I had chronic fatigue and some other things happen. And so I had to start to very, very quickly learn about rebuilding myself, because of course, the doctor sending you home saying, you need to take Valium is not great when you've got high levels of dieldrin in your system and things like that. So for me, one of the things that in the last few years that had happened was, of course, we've heard about the advent of things coming along, and there'd been little rumors about, let's call them rumors, about medbeds coming along and things. And I thought, well, it's finally time, and here we are. We're coming into that area where we're going to be able to use light, where we're going to be able to use frequency, and where basically that's going to be the way where our DNA is going to be repaired. So, but here we are down the track, and that still isn't here. But what did happen was, by this patch, and these are what the outer sleeves look like, of the one that Nate held up, that. And the patches themselves are just tiny little, they look like little white woo-woo little Band-Aids. But this technology is phenomenal. What the patches do I'll first explain what they do, and then I'll explain a little bit about my journey and everything that's happened since, if that's all right.
Yes, go for it.
So, thanks. So basically, these patches were designed by an amazing human being, David Schmidt. He's a scientist and inventor. And he started the technology, it's actually 19 years worth of, nearly 20 years worth of cumulative research. And that was when he was first commissioned by the US government to create technology to keep the Navy SEALs awake. So he cracked into the start of what was to become this patch, because it's all photobiomodulation, which is light therapy, using the body's own light. Anyway, so he cracked into this technology. Meantime, 9/11 came along, government withdrew funding, and he was left there with the start of this incredible technology. And it was obviously the universe steers us exactly where we need to be. So he then went off on his own and he continued this technology. The first patches that he created are called the energy and endurance patches. They were actually picked up by the US Olympic team coaches. They were checked out at Stanford University and stuff. The US Olympic team started to patch. I don't know if you remember, Nate, and some of you, the guys are watching this, is that in 2008, Phelps and the swim team blitzed, did their personal best. 7 of them, I think it was 7 out of 8 on their first day of patching. Anyway, so they really got the attention of the US Olympians and stuff. And so the Olympic team's been patched for about a decade and a half with those. So
I thought you were going to talk about the Chinese swimmers back in the day, the women who were using human growth, and they all had man voices. Oh, different experience.
Yeah, oh man, that was
7 foot tall as well. Yeah.
Yeah, anyway, that's another topic. But so down the track, he created some other patches and what the patches do is they activate a particular peptide in the body, each patch, to get a specific result. So we've all heard, you think back to Christopher Reeve. Do you remember when he had that accident, Nate? And he was really in the pioneering part of, this stem cell. There was always the talk about stem cell technology. So we've heard about it for a very, very long time. And so what this does is it's 10 years of research. They told him that that couldn't be done, that you could reboot our body's own pluripotent cells, our own stem cells. But anyway, he knows, he actually just gets downloads continually. So he continued to research this. He cracked the technology. It took him a decade. He put in $4.5 million. And in 2020, this patch was patented. And it came to Australia in October of 2022. So what the patch does is it's literally using our own body's own light. When the patch comes near our body, it doesn't even have to be stuck onto our body's own, because we are beings of light. So that light activates it, principally our infrared light. So when it becomes activated, it reflects our body's own light back into us. And what happens then is that sends a message to our system saying, hey, body, elevate your copper peptide, which is our GHKCU. So it's pretty much like, when we go out in the sun, we step out in the sun hits our skin, sends a message to us saying, hey, elevate your vitamin D. We're not going out and getting an injection of anything. So exactly the same as this. This is non-transdermal, big thing for our community, of course. Nothing goes into the body. All it is it's sending a signal saying, hey, body, elevate your copper peptide. And it's the copper peptides that reboot our inactive stem cells. So I certainly, despite all my research that I've done around wellness and the space that I've been in, and all the bodywork practitioners that I've hung out with and do good stuff with, most of us didn't know that by the time we're 30, half our stem cells are already dormant, which ain't fun, but by the time we're 60, they're pretty much all done and dusted and they're inactive. So of course, that's when, if you haven't got any active stem cells, you're entering the aging funnel in a very accelerated way. And you get to the point where, you're not healing as quickly and the wheels start to fall off and different things like that.
Yeah.
So when the patch found me, yeah, it's pretty nuts.
It's same with
So when the
testosterone
patch
as well
found
and
me,
human growth hormone therapy. Like the testosterone at age 30, 35, men are lacking their tests, and all these things are actually tied to the stem cells and the DNA. Like that's the top part of it, the electrical charge of the cell, and then everything kind of goes down from that. So what you're doing with these patches is essentially you're rebooting the thing right at the core issue, as opposed to there's already a breakdown going on. There might be 10 different things that we're trying to then catch up to get back to where we were originally. So it's kind of like rebooting it, putting it back into the original blueprint, I guess would be another way of describing it. A little bit like the way this,
yeah,
I've got a scalar machine at my house, a Dr. Sandra O's one. And yeah, that's kind of a little bit what that does, but a bit older technology. And that is very noticeable. I mean, very, very noticeable. People have like miracle results and stuff, jump-ins machines, and these patches just almost seem like a little cheaper version of that, because not everyone has $125,000 US to buy a healing machine for their house.
yeah, yeah, dead right. And one of the things that really struck me was when I found out these patches are non-transdermal, that the body's doing, it activates that response in the body, and then the body works down its own priority list, because we've got that innate knowledge of, as your stem cells reboot, of where they need to go down the body's own tick list. But also, like the fact that it's out for after all that technology and what it is, and that nothing else like it exists in the world, and it's for the cost of a cup of coffee. There is a very vastly different picture around this being able to get out to the whole world.
Now, there's one more thing.
And yeah,
It's really reminded me the copper peptides. I've got a signal chat with about 150 people in there, and it's all healers and health professionals and all the rest of it. We've had a bunch of very, very long conversations around copper and the importance of copper, and how they've also almost made copper this thing where copper's toxic, and then the copper connects to iron as well. Everyone thinks you need iron, but actually it's a deficiency in copper, and copper actually creates the energetic charge as well. Copper is like an incredibly healing mineral, and it's something that obviously with gold as well, copper and gold were these things that the ancients used. We use it for charging electricity, obviously. Copper wires, you have copper wires in your electricity lines. Same with gold. Gold's good for connecting and connectivity. It's a very interesting, I guess, conversation. And there's a really good thing you could read called, I think it's called Copper, the Healing Miracle, but I've had it sent to me a few times and read through it all. And it's just funny that this is doing that without actually taking the copper. It's activating the internal copper, because I believe that, we can do all of our healing internally. Most people out there would have seen people like Joe Dispenza and meditation teachers and yogis and people who have been practicing that deep inner work. Like they heal their bodies without taking herbs, without doing detoxing and things like that, because they're actually activating the energetic charge, as opposed to putting all these things in the physical body. So it's a very interesting product that obviously I've got a lot of information around these things, and it kind of like seems to link in quite well with everything that I've researched so far.
it's amazing in that way, Nate, because of the fact that it works in harmony and with things. And David Schmidt, who's, he's a scientist and inventor, he's an extraordinary man. And on his journey, like when I started patching 14 months ago in January last year, he had 130 worldwide patents. So by October, they had a convention called the Heart to Heart Convention to celebrate 19 years of the company. And by then he had 180. So he is creating extraordinary technology. But when you look into what he's creating and the way that he's doing it, he's literally creating, in order to exit this matrix, we actually have to operate outside of it. So we can't go to, even with, the journey that we've been on, this is the time where we need to come into flipping it, when there is a resonance when we come together, and where we create new systems, and where we don't have to fight the old, we just step into and create the new and claim it. So when you can see with what David Schmidt's creating with some of this technology, and a lot of it is, things that he's done not for profit, like cleaning up the world's oceans and other things that he's got going on. But all of it is extremely big picture. And it's all to do with harnessing energy, and he's exceptionally visionary. And when you listen to him, I could listen to that man until the cows come home, because he is he's very, very humble, but he's also quite phenomenal. But you can, you know, when you're drawn into the presence of, even on a Zoom, you can feel his presence and what he's sharing.
Yeah, sounds like he's
And when
deep
you
in
mentioned
his journey.
copper, that was a great point. I'll just add with the copper, that did you know that the whole copper peptides are called the holy grail of anti-aging? So
Right, I didn't know
even
that.
when people, you know, oh, you got too much copper or whatever, things like that, you know, sometimes we're deliberately steered away from where
Yes.
the things that will benefit our body.
And the big scam is the iron. They're always telling you need iron, but it's the copper. Iron's actually the opposite. You know, it's like it's doing the opposite. So there's a big conversation around that. And this guy sounds like he's truly deep on his journey. You know, that presence is only felt around people who are literally living in I guess it's an energy of authenticity. That's one of the things I say. Obviously, an energy of love is very obvious, but someone who's living in authenticity on their journey, it's very like attractive. You know, there's an energy that pulls people in because they're doing something so different, so unique that, yeah, I guess our innate system is like, wow, this is like, maybe I could be doing better. Maybe I could be doing this. How can I help? You know, and it's really important to have these way showers in the world. I mean, to put that amount of money into a business is crazy. You know, like I'm in a very big business at the moment, raising capital, and I know how hard it is, and especially when it's an idea and no one's done it before, and you're biting off more than you can chew, and you're chewing like crazy. To have done that for so long and then put so much cash in as well, it's a real testament to him on his journey. Because I'm in that phase right now, and let me tell you, it can be a frightening experience.
Unbelievable faith and unbelievable. You have to have a massive, massive vision around humanity to put yourself through some of that, and to go out on a limb for so long and have, you know, people continually say that this is a technology cannot be cracked. And he started, you know, when he first started these patches, the first patches, which were the ones that, you know, the Olympic team ended up patching with and stuff, he started creating them, like he had a lab and stuff, but he created them, hand created them in his garage. And then once they all got tested and they went through university testing and they did all of the things, and, you know, it all snowballed from there. But just when you think about the company itself, in the first 17 years, they were chugging along extremely well. But they were doing $20 million a year. But when this patch was patented in 2020, they went from doing $20 million, and keeping in mind, this is patented, no one else has it, there's no other thing like it. So it was released in 2020. It went from 20 million in 2020. Last year, when I started patching with my husband and some friends, and this whole Australia thing's rippled since, they were predicting that at the end of the year, by Christmas, by the end of last year, that it would be 340 million. Well, it's actually flipped that, 430 million at the end of last year. But in January, he spoke at a vision conference, and he just said, we are already geared up for 1.8 billion to 2 billion this year, because it's now spread into over 75 countries. People are sharing so profoundly, and the change, and that's only because of the change that we see in ourselves and each other. Like,
Totally.
you wouldn't share something if it
And
wasn't.
do you want to give us
and the resonance is ridiculous.
Mate, well, I mean, it's speaking for themselves. The numbers speak for themselves. You know, you don't do 1.8 billion in sales if there's something not very, you know, good about it. You know, now, do you want to give us some testimonials or your experience with people you know and yourself with the product, and what you've noticed, and what people can expect you know, if they started using the patches?
Yeah, absolutely. I'd love to.
And sorry,
I think
my
the
internet's slow.
testimonial.
That's why I keep cutting you off, because I'm actually lagging. So I'm kind of, that's why I'm constantly chopping in. So apologies for that. It's raining outside. It's a bit slow.
No problem at all. I think, yeah, there's some funky stuff happening with internet on occasions these days. So what happened, I'll start with, for me, when my girlfriend rang me, and I had literally in 2022, I had a massive, massive year work-wise, a catch-up year, you know, like lockdowns had ended, and, you know, I was a Queensland girl, but mainly live in New South Wales now. when major lockdowns came into that, super, super busy with some of the things I do. And in the midst of that, my mum passed away. And I had some female hormonal things kick in that I went from being extremely fit and healthy to thinking by the end of that year that the wheels were falling off in a really big way. So I literally sat down on Christmas Day and sent an absolute rocket of intent out and prayed and said, look, whatever it is, whether it's med beds, whether it's whatever, I didn't think that it was going to be that, but I thought whatever it is that's going to help me, can I align with it ASAP? So little did I know that on Christmas Day, a great buddy of mine, Tessa, she she put her first patch on, and in 4 hours, her sciatica pain was gone. And I had known her to be in crazy sciatica pain for 4 years. So by New Year's Day, when she rang my husband and I, she said, oh, I've got to come around and see you and Ken, because this is unbelievable about these patches. So I said, look, whatever it is, come around and share with us and tell us what they are. So she sat down, started to talk, had an order form on the table. And literally the moment that she said, this is non-transdermal, it's photobiomodulation, it's impregnated with a frequency that activates the copper peptide. This is what it does, reboots the stem cells. I thought, I'm definitely going to start patching. And so we both started our patching journey. And what happened for me was at the end of my first day, call me a one patch wonder girl, just like Tessa. Not everybody has an immediate, super fast, tangible result. I certainly did. Now, I had sustained an injury during this freedom walk fight that I won't go into, but I had a knee injury as a result, and I had crazy bad bursitis in my knee. And so at the end of my first day, I suddenly realized that the bursitis in my knee was gone, and so was this clicking, cracking noise that when I'd flex my leg. So I was really excited. And another thing that happened in the first few days for me was I had extremely bad brain fog kicking in. My adrenals had been on the verge of collapse. And suddenly I had no adrenal stress. I started to get incredible mental clarity. And then a whole bunch of other things started to change. So in the midst of this, on my first day, I was super excited just by the fact that this technology was here. I shared with 4 girlfriends on that first day, as you do, oh my God, a med bed in a patch. And then we just started these conversations. First day, 4 of them joined this journey. We didn't even know how to sign people up or what to do, but I quickly found out. And as a result of that, this ripple effect has, because all 4 are practitioners as well, so has just started. But for my husband, I'll share Ken's story, because Ken started, and when he was sitting next to me and I said, well, what do you want to do, babe? Are you going to join me on this journey? And he sat up, and he's a personal trainer, and he's very fit and he's very buff. And he said, I'm perfectly fit and I'm perfectly healthy. And then he said, but if I don't have to enter the aging funnel, why wouldn't I give it a go? So what he didn't realize, that he works 14-hour days. So he would come back at the end of his 14-hour days, his shift, comes back home, and he's got what he calls outrageous amounts of energy. Now, next Tuesday, he turns 65. And so that's huge. Like, he thought he was at the peak of his game. Then when he was squatting 330 kilos on the hack squat machine a couple of weeks later, that massively got his attention. And I also saw something that I've seen a lot of now. This light came on in patching, but also from the result in my husband, where literally his light body turned on. And he's gone from this reserved, quiet, gym-loving guy to he's running around the gym and other places and telling people about the patches, and he's on a mission to be part of the change that we want to see in the world. And so we've seen many, and I started running Zooms every week where we have testimonials, and they're Aussie ones. And we've seen things from fibromyalgia, multiple, and I'm not a doctor and I'm not making any claims. I'm just sharing what my friends and our extended tribe, what's been happening. But the changes that you see when the body starts to address like this goes back to the blueprint, like you said, Nate. And one of the things it does, whether we feel it or not, the clinical studies show that it resets 4,000 genes in the first few days. Now, I wasn't even aware of the fact that that's 1/3 of our genome. And that's just starts to happen. And as those pluripotent our stem cells wake up, they go where they need to go. So I could tell you, like, but our journey, I'll say one thing, our journey started when we were in Queensland and we visited on the Gold Coast some dear friends that I've been, I did body, mind, spirit courses with him about 25 years ago we met. Love him to bits. He was on dialysis for 4 years, had a kidney transplant 18 months before. We told him that we just started patching. I shot him some information, went up to see them, caught up with them for lunch at Sanctuary Cove. And the first thing that they said is, you've got to tell us about these patches. So we did. We'd only been patching up in a month. And they said, we have to get their daughter started on them straight away. And she'd only turned 16 the day before. And they said the timing couldn't be better because she'd only been diagnosed with the same rare genetic disease that Dad's got, which is Fabry's. And that's where the body attacks it's missing an enzyme and it attacks its own organs. And the foregone conclusion is that you will be up on dialysis and up for a kidney transplant. She was already in crazy, excruciating pain. They were on giving her meds. She wasn't able to eat. She was lots of things going on. But she started patching and the change in her was immediate in her mood, in her eating. And then 4 months later, she was off all medication. But when we were leaving the Gold Coast after the change in the first days for her, even my husband turned to me and he said, for Lil's sake, we need to tell everybody, and what they do with it is entirely up to them. And that's all we've done.
Wow, amazing. Now, beautiful testimonials. And you said that, like, what's the kind of ratio where you patch for a certain period of months and it's kind of equivalent to regenerating your body over a period of time? What was that? I remember you talking about that before.
Yeah, well, the clinical studies show that when you patch with these X39 patches, when you patch for 1 month for every decade of your age, that's the point where, Ken says it's the magic number or whatever, but it's the point at which all your stem cells are once again active. So they've been rebooted. So for example, if you're 40, that's obviously, it's 4 months, and that's where the deep healing stage starts. Because it makes sense, because all our stem cells are awake again, and they're all on board, like, when we just arrived on the planet, we were babies, hopefully. But if you're 80, that's 8 months, because obviously we've had more happen to us. We've got a greater toxic load, things like that. And so it's so easy to patch. Like I don't know if you can see it, but there's one there. I've just put one there so you can see it. But I mainly put it at the back of my neck. You can put it anywhere on your body, especially if you've got pain. And you wear it 12 hours on, 12 hours off. And the reason for that is when you put the patch on, as David Schmidt says, it's like turning on a light switch. So that activates those copper peptides. They're sending the signal, hey, body, elevate your, reboot your stem cells. But when you go to bed at night, you've got to take the patch off. You just throw it away. We clean our teeth, patch, clean our teeth at night, throw it away. Well, we actually don't. We patch our dog, Mitzi, because we love it a bit. So we want her to be on an incredibly long, well journey with us. So she gets the benefit before those nanocrystals have broken down of whatever's left of the frequency. And all you do is drink lots of good water. Obviously we're not into tap water, most of us, but lots of good water, because what happens is the moment that light is flowing through your body and the stem cells are being rebooted, then your body, the cells start to flush, and you need to flush it out of the system. And the other thing is, of course, stem cells, in order to have optimum results, we need to be really well hydrated.
Okay, beautiful. What I was thinking also is when you're saying and talking to Sam earlier about the technology, obviously a lot of people in the last 3 years got coerced into taking things they didn't want to take. And it feels like, whatever that was like a benevolent kind of technology. It was something that was put in there. And I always call alien technology, I feel like we are an agenda where we're against a non-physical force. And it feels like right now, there's a lot of good things that are coming out, which are the opposing force to unwind some of the stuff that's happened to us. And a lot of the things that are going in on a micro level, they're not easily extractable, and it's also messing with DNA and RNA and things like that. Where once again, stem cells is kind of one step further than that. Where if you can activate that, you could potentially do things with a lower level things. So I think this is probably a really good time and a good product to bring out, because a lot of people out there who are in a world of hurt right now. I'm actually putting together a very big detox protocol at the moment, and a heavy metal detox protocol as well, which I think this will work really well with. But when you're talking to Sen, I was like, well, this is a really easy thing for people to use too, because a lot of people don't like the taste of herbs. They forget to do this. Like everything's people are very lazy, and you are in your life where you are because of the choices and circumstance that you create. If you can't be bothered to do a detox, if you don't want to eat good food, eventually you're going to have a lot of problems later on, where this is so easy. Like I've got one on the back of my neck as well. But you just put it on and then you notice it and it works like almost instantly. What different types is there? Because I've got these ones that I got a little while ago. And like what is there different sorts, different types? Because I'm not really privy with the whole situation. I've been quite busy the last 2 years and just got some time together now to be able to start promoting good products again.
Yeah, it's a great question. He has David Schmidt created from those energy enhancer, energy and endurance patches that were his first patch that the Olympic team started with, and Olympians. And I've got to say, if you actually look at Olympians around the world, you look at Beckham, you look at a lot of sports guys. Sometimes when they're excited and they rip their shirt off or something at the end, they're patched. Or I saw a basketballer a couple of months ago, and I saw a photo of him, and he had a patch on either one of his calves, and it was taking this massive shot. So, those there are, and I would say, that those would be the energy enhancer ones, but there are also ones I happen to have on my desk, which is, I don't know if you can read it, there's Icewave patches. So Icewave is for extreme pain. Having said that, these X39, which are the hero patch, because they are the ones that stem cells will end up doing everything. The other patches are phenomenal for accelerating a specific result. So Icewave will, if you've got extreme pain, you can, and the X39 alone hasn't been bringing it down enough. Then what you can do is you can use the Icewave and use what they call the clock method, and that we can go into that another time. But that's a 2-patch system. Works extremely well. We've done it where we've had crazy levels, people that have been in crazy pain, on an 8 or 9, and when we've got the right spots with the 2 patches, it's dropped down to a 3 or even a 2, and within by the next day even nothing. So one of the other patches is, and this is one that I lean into a lot as a sort of secondary patch. It's called Eon, and Eon is the inflammation patch. So when you think about the fact that when my husband, he does lots of gym, he's working out and all the rest of it, always has. So a few years back when he had to go and get, they take his stem cells out and they spin them and, for his rotor cuff. And by the way, even with your own, it doesn't last that long. It's expensive to do, and you don't know if they're going to even hit the right spot, whereas this is doing the stem cells in your whole body. So with those, if you've got a lot of inflammation, anything that's wrong with us, brain, we've seen amazing change with people with anxiety, depression, brain injuries, things like that, when they started patching. But if you add the Eon patch, then it brings the inflammation down. And then all of these stem cell patch reactivating patches are used for regeneration instead of some of them being used, like to handle the inflammation. So that's a great patch. It's also, the Eon's also called the happy patch because it deals with the nervous system. You can wear it at night if you choose to. I often wear mine at night. And it's, I call it the Zen patch. It's really cool for great sleeps as well. So there's other ones. There's glutathione, which works on, it's your master detoxer in your body, and carnosine, the bioelectrical system, brain and heart. There's some other ones as well, but really at the end of the day, the main one is just simply this.
Amazing. I've got so many people in mind that I'm thinking of at the moment. A lot of people are been going through health crises, even really healthy people lately, I've noticed. And yeah, there's definitely a few people I could think of that would be really find that beneficial. All right. Now, I guess one more thing we should tap into, which is really timely as well, because the world at the moment financially is in a very, it's in a state of peril, to say at absolute least. We've got the BRICS nations doing their thing, America printing $1 trillion every 100 days, and all types of stupidity. And a lot of people are looking for a second hustle, a second income, and also something that you could do which does help people. I don't do MLMs, but I do MLMs when it's a good product, because it's a really good way to get things out there. And actually, it's been quite a good little thing for me. A couple of MLMs I have done, especially when you're getting really good testimonials from people. So do you want to give us a rundown on what it looks like for people who want to jump on board and be part of the team in regards to, is there a commission structure? How does it work? Because I'm not actually sure. I bought the life patches off a friend. I said, look, I just want to buy them. I'll try them first and I'll sign up later. But now I have tried them. I definitely am going to jump on board and do it properly. So yeah, you want to give us a bit of a rundown on that? That'd be good.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Nate. Look, when I started, I had basically done what you could call the lean out for any MLM, although I promoted lots of things and helped people that were doing great stuff, whether it was oils, whether it was, whatever it was. But it kind of wasn't my jam, because I was really about being part of or waking people up. But this is so different. It was for me, because there was an immediacy of my lean in, and just it was visceral, like this knowingness. And what has happened since is that there is what I call the lean in. I have had an explosion of what's happened in, my friends sharing with their friends and so forth, and this ripple effect. I can say that the world is definitely going to hell in the handbasket, and bloody quickly, I can say, when you look at everything going on, and I don't think it's going to get better in a hurry. But being able to create financial sovereignty along the way of supporting sovereignty in other areas, including wellness and being at this incredible state of optimal health. Who wouldn't want to be helping their friends in all ways? So there's a really natural flow in this. It is also I've discovered a part of David Schmidt's vision. He has 60% of everything that goes into Lifewave actually goes out to pay people that are helping others. Now, when you start, you can start and you can just patch yourself and not share with anyone. I've got no idea how anyone does that when they get results, because you'd have to gaffer tape me. But you can do that. There's no expectation. But in the natural sharing, the way that people are connected with the company is it's logged in, linked to your ID number, and there's an immediacy of the start of that flow back. And I can tell you, it's not only changed my life physically on so many levels, and so many of my friends, but when we're able to create a separate income stream and come into alignment on this slipstream and coming together in community, like the stuff that we're doing. I've just come back from Mexico. I'm about to go to Seoul. I've been doing podcasts for over a year of these things. I've spoken at events, it's just been such a privilege, just like, you know, Nate being here today. It's just such a privilege to get in front of my tribe and to be able to share and say, look, there's a way that you can, you know, you can live to be way older than they're trying to get us to live to be, and be well and create abundance in the process. So, you know, when you onboard people, when you bring people in, and there's a very, very simple system of doing it, they're linked to you. And as soon as you've got just 4 people, and it's in a binary structure, all that means is it's left and a right. It's binary. It means 2. So there's 2 legs. One of the things I really love about the way that it's done is that everybody is helping everybody. So I've got lots of MLM rocket ships from other things, wonderful other things that have done other things. But one of the things that they all say is it's amazing how in this binary way, we're all helping each other because it's a group volume that you're benefiting from if you're sharing, if you're helping others, if you're empowering others, and if you're and it's just so natural. I mean, you do it anyway. I've shared so many products over the years that I've not got anything out of, and especially during the last few years, anything that could protect us from some of the things that we're being exposed to.
Oh, amazing. That's good. That's good to know. And also there is a lot of people on my channel and friends and stuff who are practitioners who, for example, you're an acupuncturist or you're an osteo, you know, to kind of put this in with your practice. It's a no-brainer, you know, because you're doing your practice, plus you're giving them something which is healing their body. So the results are going to amplify. So a really good thing for people like that. Also, old people, I find generally get really good results from stuff like this because their bodies are, you know, so mineral deficient and all the things and lacking of that energy and that vitality that older people seem to always get really good results, you know, incredibly good results. I know that through selling CBD for over 12 years, you know, the old people love it. And I'm yet to put one on my mum and dad. I do want to patch my parents. Next time I go down to Sydney, I want to patch them up and chuck them on there because my parents are funny. You give them anything and like, they're like, oh, I didn't feel anything. And one time I gave my parents like kratom. They're like, oh, I didn't feel anything. Another time I gave them like a fair bit of like THC. Watch them. No, I didn't feel anything, you know. They're just like rocks, you know. And my parents are pretty healthy. I'm yet to actually get something to try on them where they're like, oh, I actually feel a lot better. So this will be an interesting test, you know. I have tried quite a few things on them before.
You're
One
right.
without them knowing.
It's actually it's mind blowing on some of the oldies, like the older people, because my mum's got you know, her place was in the Northern Rivers, and I ended up because was a Queensland girl that was lassoed to come down into the country into New South Wales. So I've kept her place as a base in the Northern Rivers, and it's in a gated over 50s lifestyle village. But all of these guys over the years are in their late 70s or 80s. And of course, I've got a house there, and you know, we started to talk to them about patching. They started patching. I'd say, well, you know, you're 80, so that's 8 months before all your stem cells are rebooted. So let's see how you go along the way. Little did I know that, oh my gosh, some of them, the response, like one of them, you know, macular degeneration within 2.5 weeks. She was able to see the dot on the chart with her blind eye.
Massive. That's yeah.
And she's been on a mission, and it's turned on the light with her, and now she's got an income flow where it can pay for her patches and do different things, and it's pretty amazing. So we're you know, they say we're not done till the fat lady sings. If you turn on the light in the body, anything.
And for people out there, if they try and pull around too, like they did in the last few years, it's something that you can basically have an income sitting at home. And what I noticed, because I've had an online shop for over 10 years, is I can see when people are starting to get sick again because my ivermectin sales start going through the roof. Like, I don't know if people are getting sick because I live up in the forest away from people, but I can see by the sales when things are coming in. And it seems like at the moment there's a lot of people getting unwell again, you know, most likely because of the frequencies that are out there. And this is frequency technology, you know what I mean? This is basically like the double-edged sword where they're doing that and we're doing this. But it's up to people to Well, it's not up to people. Not everybody has a friend or someone who's ahead of the game that can say to them, hey, you need to get this water system. You should look into these videos. You should look into that. So now's actually a really important time in history where people have been injured. The health and mental state of not only the earth, but nature and our bodies, spiritually, physically, mentally, is at an all-time low. And people are looking, they're searching for something to get that vitality back, to get that motivation back. You know, a lot of people are laying in bed tired in the morning and they don't actually want to get out and do anything with brain fog and all these things. There's nothing worse than when you're trying to create something in the world and you're tired, run down, unmotivated. So that's definitely something I noticed with the patches when I had started that strength wise is too. I'm back in the gym at the moment, started training like last week. And yeah, like got a fair bit of strength for someone who hasn't trained for over really a decade. I'm wondering if that's the patches or what it is, but I feel like this is a good thing. For one, people try something new, activate things on a higher level. Two, there's an income stream. Three, they can tell their friends and family about it and help people that way. So really, if people are getting as good results as I'm seeing and you're seeing, this should be a no-brainer for people out there to get people on board, because a really easy way to do it also would be to get some patches and you hand out a few as testers, maybe. If people haven't got the cash to jump on initially, just give them a week's worth, and it'll be, you know, a pretty obvious, I guess, feeling within that body. But for the best thing, there's three stages. What are the three stages to do with getting on board? There's a diamond package, a silver, and what's the last one?
So there's a silver pack, which is 3 of these. So
Yep.
Worldwide, this is actually always in, they're just worldwide, it's in US dollars.
Okay.
So one sleeve is $100 US.
Yep.
And then each country applies their tax and so forth. So we're 10%,
cool.
and then we're some postage. So this in Aussie, there's a silver pack, which is like a single person starter, 3 sleeves, and then as a single person, you, for example, to have that continuum, you'd be on a 1 sleeve a month auto ship, because there's 30 patches inside each one of them. The gold pack, which is, you know, is basically for 5 sleeves, and you get a free one of your choice of the others. For example, the Eon patches, which are the Pac-Man of inflammation and stuff, or energy patches, or whatever you choose. And so that's $500 US plus tax and some postage. So that's what, you know, classically a couple starts on with a 2 sleeve a month auto ship. It's also the one that if you want the full income flow back that you're on, you've either on a gold pack or above. And the third one is pretty much the most popular one that these people at the moment are getting in on, and that is the diamond pack, simply because of the fact that it's cheapest. You get 19 sleeves, the cheapest per unit. So the patches themselves are cheaper. So it's 19 sleeves for the cost of 16. So it's 1,600 US plus tax.
Yep.
But there are a whole lot of benefits to that. And yeah, you've got patches that you can loan out. You've got sleeves. And one of the things we've found is all of us are constantly, people want, when your heart says, I'm claiming this decision to start patching, you want to do it today. If we loan out our sleeves all the time, so do our guys, and so that in 12 days time or whatever, Aussie Post, when your patches arrive, they flick that sleeve back to us. So you've got these boomerang sleeves.
Right. That's good. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, amazing. Well,
and I can tell you, I didn't expect to have a year where I went from the wheels falling off. My income, had been smashed, and I tried to catch up, and that was crashing my health. But that this year I've got 5 overseas trips, and all of them are aligned with my purpose and my heart, and it's all to do with these patches, because I literally am going with where I'm being asked to go and flow.
Amazing, brilliant, a beautiful testimonial, and thank you so much for coming on, Misha. Yeah, there's a couple of other really interesting technologies that have been floating around me lately, and it's just timing that this one has come kind of the way it has. I had a good friend of mine introduce me to them, and actually a mate of mine had them about 2 years ago, and he really rated them highly. And for some reason, I was too busy. I didn't bite onto it, And then someone else came up to me and said, Nate, have you tried them? And then I was like, oh, that must have been the thing that my friend was talking about, you know? So yeah, it's like I said, it's you need to have someone in your life who's out there actively promoting things. Otherwise, you just don't come across these deals and these products because of the way the
Yeah.
internet is and the censorship and everything. It's very hard to get anything good through anymore, you know? Anything good's generally like in smaller circles, and you have to kind of explore it or find it yourself. The Facebook and the YouTubes and all that. It's just it used to be a great resource for information, and gatherings and all the rest of it, and now it's just a slavery tool, you know. So yeah, I'm glad that I've got on board, and hopefully you guys out there can share these videos. Jump on, get a sleeve or two, and if you like them, yeah, there's an income there for you, and also a way to upgrade your health, and that's the most important thing. The next 5 years is all going to be about health, spiritual, mental, physical health, and also finances, because the world is coming crumbling down. The financial system is coming crumbling down. And to have a bunch of side hustles, things you don't have to leave, especially if there was another pandemic and you can be at home selling something, going to the post office or whatever, and you don't have to actually be physically out there, part of it. And Lord willing, and God pray that that doesn't happen. We don't have another round two. But yeah, side hustles are a very good thing, and online businesses are a good thing at this point in time. You've got to think to yourself, guys, what are the industries and what are the things that are going to be booming over the next decade, right? You look at what the super rich people are investing in. It's artificial intelligence, it's robotics, it's online businesses, it's delivery services. Everything's kind of going online. The traditional businesses are going to be replaced by artificial intelligence and robots. 60% of the businesses in this world are going to be gone in the next 10 years. And the robots they're about to bring out, not these Honda ones that are like falling everywhere. That's just a joke that's been brought out 10 years ago to show you that robots are coming. The robots that are in the military industrial complex and the real ones they've got sitting there waiting to bring out when we're ready, when we're privy, when we've been, I guess, conditioned enough to accept them. Oh, this robot can walk your dog and it can do your vacuuming, it can do all your things in your house, but it's going to be tracking every single thing you do throughout the whole entire time. It's going to be watching you, taking photos, and it's all part of the smart grid spy system. So these robots that are coming out are going to be a lot faster than humans. They're going to be able to lift a lot more. They're going to be able to do things a lot quicker, and they're not going to sleep. You know, so robots are going to come in very, very quick. And what's happening, I don't want to go too off track, is we're seeing a replacement migration, which is coming in all countries across the planet at the moment, where they're bringing in people from Africa and they're flooding the European nations, Western countries, and that's going to lower the price of living. That's going to lower the standards of living. Okay, so there's going to be a working class poor. You're going to have a super rich elite and a working class poor. There's going to be no middle class. And then after that, they're going to replace that with robots. So all these useless eaters, which what they call us, will be replaced with robots. So now is a very good time to start getting yourself side hustles, and working out what industry you want to be in for what's coming in the future. What are your kids going to be in? You know, what are you going to push them into to create wealth in the future too? It's a very exciting time, because it's the time it's creating more millionaires and billionaires than ever in history. We are in the midst of the tech boom. You can come up with an incredible idea and build an app or create a system, and you can be a billionaire in literally 2 years. That's unheard of, and that was never the case until the last kind of 5 or 10 years, where this tech industry is absolutely going off, and it's not stopping anytime soon. You know, the traditional business of, say, opening a metal fabrication business, and then over a generation turning that into $1 billion business, that's finished. Those days are over and done for. The competition, China, the way things are, our economy, it's all about tech. It's all about new discoveries. It's all about new inventions, which is what this is. So if you get in early, which it is very early now on this product, for example, you've got plenty of time to get it out there, start your own business, start getting people on board. And no doubt there'll be more products coming out over the next few years. This dude who created it, he's not stopping anytime soon, you know. So I think
He's got one coming out in October.
Right. I can tell you what this guy's like, because my business partner's like this. My business partner's like the Elon Musk of Australia, absolutely a freak. A brain that works like nothing I've ever experienced in my life. And you know, these guys don't even sleep because they're so on their journey. So yeah, this is a really good time, guys, and have a think about it. And anything else you want to add before we jump off, Misha?
Just two things. One is that you're absolutely right. With David Schmidt, those patents never stop. And he's already announced at the Heart to Heart convention on the 19 years on October last year that he's releasing a device in October of this year, which is why a whole bunch of us are already booked to go to Dallas for that event for the 20th anniversary. And he's releasing this new technology, which is, he was saying that he's been researching why we're not living to biblical ages, and it is directly age reversing. So we don't know anything other than it isn't a patch, it's a device, and that it is directly age reversing. So that's very exciting. Using light again.
I'll take two, please.
So so we're the moment we heard that, oh my gosh, when the pre-tickets came out the following day, I was booking. We were in. So, and the other thing was just, Nate, I just wanted to acknowledge you and thank you for where you've stood on this journey and for inviting me to join you this morning on this platform of yours and to share. And we really need, guys, this is so important that we create this new reality of and come together. The patch, definitely for me, I'm still blown away that out of the numbers of what we've got, that the vast majority are awake, which is just phenomenal. But at the same time, I encourage you that if you haven't patched, people hadn't heard in Australia about this technology 14 months ago now. Now they have chiropractors, different osteopaths, bricklayers, they've heard it somewhere, which is just incredible as to the speed at which it's being spoken of and shared. And I would just encourage that we're all part of the change that we want to see.
Amazing. Thank you very much. And thanks for coming on. Now, guys, as you would well know, I've been deleted off all the major platforms and don't have a big following anymore. So when you post these videos, when you share my videos, when you take pieces out and you send them to people and tag and things like that, that actually directly impacts us a lot. And I really, really appreciate it. It's not very hard just to do a share, to do a like, to tell someone about it. So if you can do that, that's always very helpful. And I'm very thankful for people who do that. There's a handful of you guys out there who are just really, really good. If everybody shared everything that was good, I'm sure would be smothering the internet a lot more. It's that whole collective consciousness of how much we're doing, what are we giving, what's coming back. And it's the whole David and Goliath thing, you can pray and you can sit around, you can have good intentions all the time, but eventually David had to get up and swing that rock. You have to get up and take action. You have to do something. And this is a very biblical time we're heading into at the moment. And your reality is going to dictate what you're giving and what's coming back. So once again, thank you very much, guys. And I will put information at the bottom on how you guys can sign up, how you can jump on board. Is there weekly or monthly kind of Zooms and, a team of people that kind of in the background are helping and things like that? How's that work? One last question.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So we've got an amazing tribe. We've got an amazing system. It's very simple. But it is really driven by the connection of, there are weekly Zooms and we are literally, like I am doing this daily. And I'm also, there's many of us, and I think that this is one of the things that's very exciting also in this, not just in this binary system, but in what's happening in our tribe in Australia, is that it doesn't matter where people have come in, that there is an unbelievable collective. Like we've got naturopaths that are willing to just jump on with anybody and just have a yarn, and just the desire to help. And yeah, it's really beautiful.
Amazing. Sounds like a good community.
Okay,
yeah, guys.
I'm very proud of it.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Misha. I'm going to jump off now and I will see you all soon.